What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here, and today I'm going to answer a burning question that has been aching in the hearts of Halo fans for many years. Do we need a Halo 3 anniversary?
We're not gonna let them have it! Serpentine! Serpentine! What's it say? It's over! We've been engaged!
Absolutely unacceptable!
But this isn't a question I can answer alone. I need backup, I need help, reinforcements. I need Mythic Tyrant, who is joining me today on this video.
What's up, guys and gals? It's the Tyrant here. Good to see you. Good to be on this channel with the Act Man. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the guy who was the first person in the world and to create a guide for beating a Halo campaign on Legendary with all skulls on. This game was none other than Halo 3, so as you can imagine, Halo 3 has a very special place in my heart. I've done it with nearly every Halo game since, with the exception of Halo 5 Guardians. But today is the question. With Halo 3 being so close to me, why am I not a fan of Halo 3 Anniversary? But Act-Man is, and that's something that we have to find out together. Who's right? Or is any of us right? Are any of us right?
Or who's more right? All animals are created equal, but some animals are more right than others, right? That's how the Animal Farm thing goes. Anyways,
don't be so hard on yourself, Act-Man.
Yeah, so I mean, fans have kind of debated this. You know, if you have a Twitter or anything, if you check that, it's kind of all over the place, up and down. There's a lot of good reasons for it and a lot of good reasons against it, and I've kind of listened and read what people have to hear. Now, let's just get straight into it. So, reason number one why we need a Halo 3 anniversary is because the whole point of Halo 3 was finishing the fight, right? Finishing the story, the trilogy, the Halo series, quote-unquote. And so, finishing the third remaster in a series of remasters, well, I'd call that finishing the fight, wouldn't you?
I would certainly call it finishing the fight.
Yeah, so I mean, seems like it's a way to remaster the classic series, the things that got us to where we are, where the series is now. I think that's a good reason no one would dispute it. It's like, yeah, finishing the fight, finishing the remaster.
You know, the thing of it is, on my side, is it's not so much I'm disputing whether or not it should ever be made, but I think what made the question so burning recently is the fact that so far the previous two Halos have all been remastered on their 10th anniversary. My question for you, Act-Man, is do you believe that it should be remastered for the 10th anniversary, or do you think it should be remastered later?
Well, I guess it depends on what 343 is currently working on. Now, we've heard a lot of stuff like, oh no, it's not happening, guys, it's not happening, seriously though, it's not happening. And yet, a lot of us are still like, but we don't know for sure. And I'm kind of in that boat. So I mean, if they have been working on it and it's getting to a point of completion, like if it can be completed by the anniversary date, I'd say shoot for that. If not, it wouldn't be a huge deal to not release it on the 10th anniversary. That, you know, that wouldn't kill it for me or anyone. If they needed more time, MCC, you could have done that. You could have waited.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. You hesitated with Master Chief Collection. Can you say Master Chief Collection, Act-Man? It's your favorite Halo game, I know.
The Master Chief Collection.
Act-Man, are you still there?
Yeah. Yeah. So, wouldn't really kill it for me if it was released later than what its 10th anniversary would be.
Well, I'm going to touch on that for just a second, and for me, I don't think it should be released on the 10th anniversary. And in order to sort of justify why, we need to look at the other two for just a second. Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay, so when you look at Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2, we'll take Combat Evolved first. The game, even after a year of being released, looked dated. I mean, that's not to say it was bad. I mean, the gameplay was still phenomenal, and I didn't really care what the graphics looked like for Halo Combat Evolved, the first one. The reason why I could justify an anniversary for that, even though I don't think anyone was really thinking one was coming, was because A, the graphics looked dated early on, B, there was no Xbox Live for Combat Evolved, so that would have been an instant improvement right there. And 3, with co-op mode, you couldn't even play System Link. It had to be split screen. So with Anniversary, they basically fixed all 3 of those things.
Yeah, except
so I could justify
no CE
that.
Multiplayer. But
there
that's
was
okay.
no CE multiplayer, but there was a classic playlist for Reach, which tied in with Halo Combat Evolved by doing remakes. The reason, do you know the reason, Ackman, why they didn't do a multiplayer exclusively for that?
I don't.
The reason being because Reach had only been out for a year at the time, and they didn't want to split the fan base. And so
that makes
people
sense.
thought it was controversial, but they were like, you know what, if we make this, we put it in Reach, but make it feel like Combat Evolved as best we can, we think that's a pretty good compromise. And to me, given the circumstances, yes, I think that worked fine.
Yeah.
Yet still, it wasn't received very well.
It wasn't? I thought it was a pretty damn good remaster.
I thought it was perfect too. Like, you and me are both on the same page in that book. We both enjoyed Halo Anniversary, with maybe the exception of the multiplayer, but that can range in opinion. That's why we can sort of justify Combat Evolved getting a remaster. It did need those things. For Halo 2 Anniversary / the Master Chief Collection, I wasn't completely on board with the idea. I actually have an older video on this. But when I look back, Halo 2 by default had its issues. And having an Anniversary Edition did give 343 a chance to flush some of those out. You probably remember this. It had a lot of graphical issues. You would try to load a mission, and some of the stuff wouldn't load right away. If you look at just the graphics themselves, they are quite different from what you would see in Combat Evolved or 3. For anything, that could be a reason to update the graphics. So at least in that department, I was like, they could fix a lot of things that were wrong with Halo 2.
But with Halo 3, it doesn't really have that much that needed to be fixed. It would be more of a graphical update.
And exactly. You're exactly right, Ackman. The thing of it is, unlike Halo 1 and Halo 2 on their 10-year anniversary marks, Halo 3 still holds up pretty well today, and main reason being, that was the first major Halo title to be designed from the ground up in high definition.
Yeah, on the 360.
Exactly.
That's a reason why it doesn't need a remaster, at least not on the anniversary date. And I think that's fair, because the game is still, it's still just as good as it was back then. I mean, obviously games have come out that look better than Halo 3, but it still looks great. I think a good point for it is that imagine how good Halo 3 still looks, and then imagine how it would look in a remaster. It'd be ball-busting, mind-blowing awesomeness.
And I agree with you 100%. As I've told you in the past, if they released a Halo 3 Anniversary tomorrow, obviously I would pick it up. Halo 3 ranks as my favorite Halo game of all time. So I am not anti-Halo 3 Anniversary. It's, should they do it now, and can we trust 343 with it, which comes to my second point.
Well, you're also playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
For the sake of this video.
I am. You know what? I can do both sides. I can fight with myself.
Yeah.
But, that's where it comes in, and you've mentioned this before yourself. Can we trust Halo 343 with a remaster, given their current track record with the other two?
Yeah, I believe we can. I mean, MCC seemed more like a whole collapse of both Microsoft and 343, not necessarily like one thing is wrong with it. It was more like a collaborative effort that just kind of flopped technically. Like, it was still great to play all those games, but, the multiplayer aspect of it and the achievements and just the idea of all 4 games in one, that brings up a lot of technical barriers. And I think if it was just Halo 2 Anniversary, if it was just, classic Halo 2 multiplayer and Anniversary multiplayer, it didn't have 4, or maybe Combat Evolved as well, but if it didn't have 4 and 3, I think it probably would have been much more functional on release. So I think it was more of an idea problem than it was an actual, talent, they don't know what they're doing kind of thing. It was more like this idea is kind of flawed from the get-go.
You're right, they saved that for Halo 5.
Well, that was more like too many eggs in one basket sort of thing. I'm gonna get you. But,
oh, yes.
I don't think 343 is like a shit developer or they don't know what they're doing, because you look at Combat Evolved Anniversary and all those new terminals, those were great. Those were fucking awesome. The Captain Keys one, I mean, that's adding on to stuff that we already know and love. And then Halo 2 looked fantastic. The blur cutscenes, 100%. Nobody can dislike blur cutscenes. And then more terminals as well. A bunch of new achievements. So I think they would nail it if they did a Halo 3 Anniversary. But, that does bring up the point. We already have Halo 5, MCC, Halo Wars, and Halo Reach, so would this just be, more saturation? Would we need another game out on the market? in preparation for Halo 6?
Not necessarily. I mean, so you talk. I've heard you mention oversaturation before, and that's partially true. But keep in mind that Reach at this point is 7 years old.
Yeah.
So it's not saying that people still don't play it, but the population is fairly low now. When you talk about Master Chief Collection, as you've already mentioned before, the game isn't doing well enough for people to have, or for the game itself to have a solid fan base. So it would be mostly divided now between Halo 5 and a would-be Halo 3 anniversary. I mean, you could count Halo Wars 2, but that's a completely different genre.
Well, I think MCC is still relatively popular. Just yesterday, or was it 2 nights ago, we were playing customs. There was like 10 of us. And so, it's like people are definitely still playing MCC. So it'd certainly be in competition. I guess that's the point, is like self-competing with your own products and not trying to do that too much.
Which is why I thought they sort of cut out the Halo 3 anniversary period, just simply because they just released Halo Wars 2.
Yeah.
And even though they're two different genres, you don't want to, I guess...
They still got DLC coming out for it,
They do. They have an excellent looking expansion that's coming out this fall. The Flood have returned. I'm looking forward to that. So they're working on, of course, releasing new content for both Halo 5 as well as Halo Wars 2. So this brings to another point. You had mentioned, if they did Halo 3 anniversary, basically just don't mess with the formula. Keep what works, just update the graphics. And to that point, wouldn't it be just as good in a way? Maybe not quite as good, but would be sort of meeting you halfway. Instead of making Halo 3 anniversary, at least anytime soon, this fall when the Xbox One X comes out and 4K becomes available to Xbox fans, if they just made Halo 3 the game itself backwards compatible and made it available in 4K with 60 frames per second.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good thing. And I think it would still be seen as something like, oh, you're not doing Halo 3 anniversary. It would be it'd be something, but it wouldn't be enough for a lot of people. I feel like they should come out and say they're doing it if they plan on it at all. The backwards compatibility thing would be awesome, but people might look at that and say, oh, so you're definitely not doing H3A. You don't care about this game as much as the other two for some reason, that kind of mentality. So,
and that's entirely possible as well. The thing of it is, though, and when I see that is, like you and I just discussed, I don't think Halo 3 is ready for an anniversary graphics wise, but having something like Halo 3 being backwards compatible for the Xbox One would actually at least be enough to tie fans over. I had mentioned in a video a couple of weeks ago that I think the perfect time for them to release a Halo 3 anniversary would actually be in 2021. And do you know why?
No.
That's going to be Halo's 20th anniversary.
That's ways out there. That's 4 years. I don't know if I can wait that long.
And I certainly understand that too, but that brings me to my third point, and that's, between Halo 4 and 5, 343 did a lot of content. They made 3 games, Spartan Assault, Spartan Strike, and Master Chief Collection. They came out with several books. They came out with 2 movies. My question is...
They're working overtime.
They're working... Exactly, Actman. And so then Halo 5 comes out, and we basically got half a game. And even the half that was there really wasn't that great, especially when you look at the campaign story, which you've covered in great detail in your review, which was fantastic.
What campaign? I don't remember. I don't remember playing a campaign. Let's not talk about it. No, I'm kidding.
Halo 5 had a campaign. And so I feel like right now, especially with Halo Wars 2 just being released, I want them to put their full concentration on the next major Halo title. That way, if they actually screw this one up, and I hope they don't, I hope they've learned their lesson, at least this time it can't be said that they didn't dedicate everything to that, all their resources.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I have that listed on one of my bullets, is that, it could be something that takes away effort from other projects. Now, they were pretty overloaded on work in between, as they were making Halo 5, and I imagine a lot of that had to do with recovering from MCC. But I also think part of it was like the DLC plan itself was more imagined than, the complete game was. Like, that's what I think, is that the DLC plan was a way to keep people coming back because Halo 4 lost a bunch of people. So in order to have this DLC plan that brought people back, they had to cut certain features and reintroduce them to get people hyped up. And it worked and it didn't work, but I don't think it was as much of a we're not getting enough work done on this project, we got to cut these features. I think it was more like, let's hold back some of these features and just kind of release something, the new thing. Let's release the new thing, but not with all the content we want to add to it. So we can kind of use that content to bring people back. So I guess to answer your question, I think they could handle it in between all their projects. Now, granted, I may be putting a lot of faith in them, but I mean, and here's a point for you, right? Imagine the reveal. Imagine how fucking hyped people would get for a reveal of Halo 3 Anniversary, with so much discussion and so much hype surrounding it, the buildup of the previous 2 remasters. I mean, that would just blow the fuck up.
I imagine that it would be similar to the hype that we had for Halo Anniversary and the Master Chief Collection.
I think it'd be similar to the hype of StarCraft 2. Maybe not quite as big, though it's hard to say, but I think people would get really excited for just a trailer, you know, just the idea that, yes, it's coming, you know, remastered maps, your favorite maps, like Guardian looking fresh as fuck, like he just came out of the Men's Warehouse, dude, you know, new graphics and sounds, a beefy assault rifle sound effect, you know, all these things like that can be improved, and I imagine, you know, adding more terminals. Like, imagine if there was a terminal where we got to actually see the Gravemind in Halo 3, because for some reason they never showed him again after Halo 2. You know, imagine if they kind of filled in some of those gaps that we kind of wanted from the story of Halo 3, you know, being that it was mostly a continuation of what Halo 2 was supposed to be. There's so many possibilities for it. It would rekindle life in the series and get people excited, so...
And I agree with you to that extent, yeah. And, you know, Halo 3 in general is, you know, by record, the most popular Halo game ever sold.
That too. Remastering the most popular game you ever put out there? I think that's a moneymaker, Microsoft.
It could be. Here's the thing, though. So, obviously, you were around for the Halo 3 days. Were you a big Bungie.net surfer back then?
Nah, I didn't go on the forums much at all. I was mostly just a gamer.
Ah, Ackman, how could you?
I know.
So,
for shame.
But for shame. So Halo 3, first of all, yes, again, I'm a little biased towards Halo 3, but you also have to look at why was it so popular? Why did it sell the most? And I think there were a few reasons for that. The first being it was a continuation of Halo 2, which was left on a cliffhanger.
It was on a new console. It was on
a new console. But also, and then part 2 is it introduced more features and concepts than any other Halo game. You know, even when you look at Reach, it was mostly just stuff that was introduced in Halo 3. It was just put all in one disc.
Reach was more like fine-tuning everything, you know, with armor abilities and, you know, new content in a new game. It was more like fine-tuning on all the features they already had, whereas Halo 3 introduced all that stuff.
And when it first introduced all this stuff, everyone's so excited. I mean, you could play online co-op with not just 2, but 4 players, all of them different characters. You had this new Forge mode. You had theater mode for campaign and multiplayer. With shame on you, 343, for taking it out of campaign. And, you know, and of course, I know you missed the site options with Bungie.net, but that was a big part of the game too, especially with the file share.
Oh yeah.
And the whole discussion with recon armor. How do you get it? Even though you couldn't, but people wouldn't accept that answer.
They could still do stuff like that, you know, for Halo 3 Anniversary. I mean, they can't like reintroduce features that are already there, but they can always create some new incentives. They can, you know, imagine Hayabusa, the grind to get that again, or it's some new challenge to get Hayabusa, or some other set of armor that was really popular, or what have you. I think there's so many possibilities that they could do. They can't exactly like change the game, but there's so many new things they could add, or little knickknacks or what have you. Forge. There's a lot of possibilities that could be added to Halo 3 Anniversary to not only create hype, but create a sense of, hey, this is new and fresh, or it's a new spin on X. I mean, fuck, you know, even try some new equipment, or try to improve equipment. There are some things you could improve in Halo 3.
Absolutely, and I think that it certainly can be done. They can even add new missions if they wanted to. I was kind of hoping for that for Halo 2 Anniversary, but that never happened. But the thing of it is, and I agree with you 100%, I'd love to see them put a lot of effort into it, add a lot of new things, add a lot of reason for there to be hype with the game overall. But because of that, that's why I would rather than wait till after the next major Halo title is released so that they can put all that effort into it and not make the same mistakes they did with Halo, the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, that's true. It really is a fork in the road, because if you wait too long to do it, then people lose interest. But if you do it right now, it might be rushed. So it's really a difficult thing to nail for them, I imagine. But I think rest assured, anybody that is a Halo fan, regardless of whether they want it or not, I think if it did come out, they'd get it. They'd buy it. I would.
I would too. And like I said, I'm all for having a Halo 3 anniversary at some point. I just feel like now would not necessarily be the right time. I know people want it now, but at the same time, with everything that went into Halo 2 anniversary, sometimes, and I don't want to blame the players on this, but I feel like people don't always really know what they want.
That's true.
Until they have it. It
might not even be as successful as people might think it would be. Because MCC it made a bad name for 343, and that's their bad because they didn't fix it quick enough. So people might see another remaster anniversary game and kind of stay away because they don't want to get tricked into buying something that just doesn't work. So, but then again, if they come out with it and it's super great, that could eliminate that mindset of, is this going to be broken? I bet it's going to be fucking broken.
Would you agree that if they do a Halo 3 anniversary, that a key to making it a success would be to make sure it had or does have all the features that the original Halo 3 had? Not just the campaign, not just multiplayer, but theater mode for campaign and multiplayer, forge mode, a file share option that they can integrate into their site.
Yeah,
all that stuff that
definitely.
The original Halo 3 had.
A working theater, especially.
Yes, definitely a working theater, that would help. But not just that. Just keep in mind, Halo 3 had an extension, Halo 3 ODST. Do you think that they should couple that together?
I don't think so. They could if they were to wait another year, or if they were to release it on ODST's anniversary, 10-year anniversary, that could be an idea as well.
Absolutely.
And then that would be a really special way to, reintroduce both of the games and maybe have both of the campaigns with updated graphics and some new features, being able to play classic Firefight on the Xbox One. I think that'd be awesome. I think there's a lot of good and bad reasons for making a Halo 3 anniversary, and I think, coupling it with ODST later down the line is an option. Doing it now is an option, or, just waiting and doing Halo 3 on its own is an option.
As long as they don't do what they did with Master Chief Collection, and this time actually include Firefight.
We're going to put 12 Halo games in one.
Even the ones that don't exist yet.
Watch it work.
Well, let me ask you this. I know this is a slightly off topic, but not really. What do you think about it? I know you're a big fan of Halo Reach.
Indeed.
Or you seem to be. Okay. What if, Halo Reach's 10th anniversary is going to come up in about, 2.5 years, give or take?
Uh-huh.
Why not just do anniversaries for all three of those and release it as a bundle? Yeah, do what I would call a classic collection.
It seems a bit much. Yeah, because classic collection, I don't know how marketable that is. I think,
well, now, yeah.
Halo 3 anniversary is much more marketable, especially if it's mixed with ODST, because you have a trailer that shows off Halo 3 anniversary, and then it's like, but it's not even over, bitch. Look, we're back with Firefight, ODST, and all this good shit that you love. So, nah, I don't think Reach needs a remaster. I think, because again, that was my first point, is you got to finish the fight, right? Reach still looks good. I don't think it will ever need a remaster. I think it's just good as it is.
I think the only other thing I'd add to that to make it much more sellable as opposed to Master Chief Collection and the original Halo anniversary, it seems like Microsoft is now making a push to also making their games available for Windows 10.
Oh, yeah.
And, people have been asking for a Halo 3 PC for a while, so I think if they released a Halo 3 anniversary, if they also released it for PC, that would be a huge selling point.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, the PC community's been there. They just were never stimulated after Halo 2, so they were all, but those people are still there. They were just kind of left in the wind. So a Halo 3 anniversary, with Microsoft's philosophy of gaming on both Windows 10 and the Xbox One, that could be a double whammy right there.
It really could. And we saw a hint of this, and this is why I think eventually they will do a Halo 3 anniversary, just because you've heard of Halo Online, right?
Uh-huh.
So we know that they've had some interest in Halo 3 and making it available for PC, at least at some point, because that was their game. It was in the alpha stage, and they just didn't finish it. The question is, maybe that was just maybe an Easter egg or an allusion to what they would actually end up doing with it later.
That's pretty true. Or that's an interesting point to think about. A little subtle Easter egg.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought it would have leaked to the public if they didn't want someone to see it.
Yeah. For real. But yeah, to summarize, I think, we kind of laid out the pros and cons of a Halo 3 anniversary. You know our opinions now. Let us know yours. So post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Try not to be cancer and toxic. Try to be half decent. My audience is pretty good. You guys are pretty good about that. But try not to be cancer. If you're being cancer, you can be cancer towards me or toxic. Right.
Don't be the internet, damn it.
Yeah.
If you want to be cancer, you can just come on my side, although most of my people are really good too, so.
Dang it. We're lacking in the cancer department.
We are, but you know what? I'm glad. I've got a good community, and I think Ackman's got a great community too.
Yeah, we do. So make sure you guys check out Mythic Tyrant. He's got a lot of great Halo videos, posts one every single day.
That's right, every single day. No rest for the Tyrant.
You'll never run out of content to watch on his channel. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. That's all we got for today. This is the Act Man and the Mythic Tyrant signing out. Peace!
Peace.